last time we said, we shall provide some examples how to, execute a single formula without any, the rest of the salt formulas dependencies. So that's what we shall provide, probably to open SSH formula, for example, and so on.
If we didn't use a pillar, if we didn't use the full, so we have a different pillar without the reclass, can people use it without reclass? Can they just use the formula?
Yes, sure.
itself?
Yeah, it's fully compatible. It's just like reclass just is giving a pillar structure, right? So you can use it without reclass without any problems. It's just not in default README. It's just it's missing basically there.
Yeah.
Or I think even the examples are. Is this? I think this is regular pillar.
Yeah, it's regular
So
pillar.
like
Yeah.
this, with this you can use it. There is just not full example. But sometimes on some places here, or maybe only SSH formula, there is something from reclass. That's usually just that reference. So something that starts with dollar and curl brackets. That's the
Yeah.
reference from reclass. But I think most of the formulas were written that way, that the README contains regular pillars,
I'll tell
nothing
you what.
related to reclass.
I'll
Even
tell you
to
what.
test.
Why don't you walk me through one? Let's try one right now. Which formula do you think is the easiest for someone new to try to use without reclass?
Probably we shall treat it OpenSSH, for example.
OpenSSH, yeah. So let's say if I was to, what I want to do here. So it's going to be salt formula. So I'm just going to do what sort of steps I might normally do. Let's see. So that's right. So let's grab this for a minute. My password. It should. I'm just going to stop the share for 1 second, yeah. Just hold on.
Sure.
What am I looking for? GitHub. Basic. Where's that share gone? Where's my Zoom gone? Amazing. My Zoom has completely disappeared. Where is it? There it is. So, share. Right. So let's grab that for a second. Okay. So in terms of, would I have to provide any pillar at all, or can I do this without a pillar?
Can you open the meta? I mean, it would be nice if to place there at least something.
Okay, so I'm just having a look here.
So here are the reclass references, but we can pick just OpenSSH client user root and replace these.
I'm just gonna try something quickly here. Let's see if I can do this.
Yes, basically you can copy paste it. Yeah, just remove the references, or even the references in pillar, they would just be references like strings, not interpolated. So.
All right, this is all fresh. I'm just trying this off the bat. I don't know if this is going to work straight away because I don't want to run it on my computer. I just want to run it straight on.
Yeah, so basically if you get the.
Let's see if I can push. Go on.
This metadata with the top level key of OpenSSH to your pillar, then this formula should work.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm just trying to get around the. Actually, I should be able to just replace this entirely. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm just trying to run it as we normally would our formulas. So I'm just running this off the bat straight in a Docker container and see whether, because then we can play around with it a lot easier rather than messing around my system.
Yeah.
So just give me a minute. I'm sure we can do this quite easily.
But in the pillars, the top SLA, OpenSSH, there, right?
Wait,
State top pillars.
We can do this. We can do this. Got plenty of practice. Just give me a minute.
Okay, yes, I see.
Provisioner. What do we need from here? None of these. No. No service. State top. We'll use that in a minute. And then
Mhm.
I'm not going to have a verifier, but I'll just pull it in anyway. Doesn't matter. And then we've got the first suite. Let's just grab one. And this is all fresh. This is just trying something straight off the bat without. Oh, so it does
Yeah,
require another
from
formula.
this, from the top, you want to remove that Linux system user.
Yeah. Okay, and then I can remove the dependencies as well. Yeah. So I can remove that now. Correct.
I think so.
Yeah, that should be right. That should work. And then I don't need this.
No, but
And I will need
What do you
this.
think, Aleš? It's required, like to create the
no,
user. account?
basically, the Linux part provides the user, the actual user, the system user, and the OpenSSH part just provides for the user the keys.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll leave it in there.
so
We'll leave it in there for now. See what that does.
yes, maybe the user should exist like for this to work. Yeah, so basically you can, if you put like root or something that would exist, then it will work well
Where would I need to
without
put that?
the Linux part.
Where? I don't understand where. So where do you want me to do that?
No,
Hey.
just put in the pillar of the OpenSSH where you
Okay.
have the interpolation. Just put the user root instead of the
Okay. Okay.
reclass part.
Right, we'll do that in a minute. So I just need to grab the pillars from files. Just put that over here, and it's this one over here. Any more? Anything else I'm missing? I think that's fine. We'll just do the. Should we do the server or the client? Which one would you prefer me to try first?
So probably server is what you want, what you expect.
Okay, it doesn't
Okay,
matter.
yeah.
So this
I
is
don't-
also one
Which
of
one will
the.
be easier to test quicker?
No,
Plain-
server is the OpenSSH server, and the client is just the certificates or the keys for the users, public, private. Like you enforce the keys for the users. That's the client role.
Let's try the
Yes,
server first.
So let's try server. Yes.
Yep.
In that case, the Linux user is completely irrelevant.
Irrelevant. Okay, fine. So then we don't need to worry about that. So it's going to be that. Okay, so that's most of what I'm thinking there. And the suite name is OpenSSH server. Oh, I'm just going to call it server, just because I don't want to mess around with names. Okay, so what I'm saying is this: if I've, and this is already available. Is that correct?
It's on
Yes,
the
it's,
repo.
there it is. Yeah, there it is. It's already available. So the file is already there, and we're looking for reclass things. Yeah.
No, this pillar is, I think, without any reclass. These
Okay.
these test pillars are without reclass. So basically, that's you
Okay,
can.
so that should run as is.
Yeah.
So if I now
Yes.
go to here and I say no, it's here somewhere. Okay, I don't need to
Co
do
to
all
je?
that.
Jaký call tady mám ještě?
Co nahrává?
Then,
Asi jo. Počkej.
right, and or not verify. Let's converge it. Converge. Right, that's the one. All right, the no bin kitchen. So what we can do is copy that across. So I need to go to here, and doesn't matter. And okay, right, so you need the gem files. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there, don't worry. We'll get this done. All right, let's see what happens. And because I got it cached, it should be pretty quick. Okay, so why do we need
It's hardly readable for me.
is it the red? Let me just highlight it and you'll be able to see it
Maybe
better.
make it bigger.
Oh, is it small? Okay. Whoa.
It's missing a template file.
Yeah, why is it even looking for a template file though? That's what I'm just thinking. What about
Ah,
that?
your pillar maybe? No?
My pillar? No, but unless the name of the pillar it's looking for. Just give me a second. I've never increased the size here before, so just give me a second. Where is the size in this?
I think Control Shift Plus will work.
Is it?
But you are already there.
I never. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I've never increased it before, but there you go. Is that a bit easier?
Yes.
So, right, preparing from template. Why is it looking for template? I must have left something in there. Yes.
In kitchen.
Silly.
Yes.
Yeah, no, here. And was the formula? I didn't see the formula name originally. Okay, so let's close that and let's go back to what have I changed? What was the name of the formula originally? It's okay, just open SSH. So that's correct now. So if I go back here, and this is on a Docker image which is on the master version of Salt. So let's see what it's worked through. So it manages the file okay, and then it gets to the service running. Okay, let's log in for a second and see what it's complaining about. Okay, right. So what's happened? It's already modified it so I won't be able to get in because of the SSH connection to kitchen. Yeah, this wasn't maybe the best example to try from
maybe
kitchen.
that, but that pillar was a part of the formula test. So in our testing, it was working probably.
No, what's happening is it's probably modifying the SSH configuration for kitchen as well. So
Yeah.
what we could do is if we just ignore that for a minute. So if we just destroy this and start again without that being done, and we should avoid the problem. So if we go over here, because we know it can manage the file, we're not worried about that. So where would the file manage to be taking place? Okay, so it'd be under server. Do you know where the file managed state is taking place here?
It will do, what is that? The service. Yeah, and then it will, use some files rendering stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna just disable this, see if that we can get away with that, just to get around. But then again, it's gonna look for it, isn't it? So just do that for a second.
Yeah, careful for the requirements. Yes.
But you can let it create, but in different, file names. So it won't affect your SSH, but you will see that it will generate something different.
True. We already saw it generating fine, so the generation wasn't the problem. Hopefully, we'll skip past the state, which was okay. Yeah, so it's just now getting to another stage here. It's not available. Group test name is not available. So where would that now take place in the formula? What's it called? Test username. So if we go up here for a second. Okay, that's in the pillar. And that's under the Linux system user, like you were saying?
Yeah, so we have this disabled, right? So like,
Yeah.
so that's the
enable
dependency. They usually, the formulas usually create the user, but not directly, because like the topic create user is not the OpenSSH topic, right?
So this is where you separated it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you separated across formulas. So why can't I just enable it here? Why can't I just enable it in kitchen? That should work, shouldn't it? Over here.
Yeah, of course.
And that should get around our problem, hopefully. or unless that formula requires reclass, or will that be okay straight away?
No reclass is required, just pure pillar. But still, like, I don't see
Right, so
the.
it's done the group, but the username, Git name is old. Yeah, that needs to be adjusted. So the formula, this has been deprecated in the latest version of Salt. It needs to be switched to group, if I remember. I can't remember. We've got it in one of our formulas. So this is just an adjustment of the version of. What's the last version you've tested on? Is it 2018, 2019?
18 something, I
One
think.
second. Oops. I'll
Yeah,
find
but
this.
still, like, I don't understand why you need the Linux system user for the server part. You don't probably need that. Why you
Well,
are working
I'm
with
not
the
sure. Maybe because we ran the wrong state. Maybe we weren't supposed to run the whole OpenSSH state.
run the OpenSSH dot to server
Server. Okay. So let's try.
ideally.
Yeah. Okay. Let's try that. Although
Wasn't it service, Aleš?
Server.
okay,
Okay.
we can check here.
And service is in the server. Yes.
So if we look down here, OpenSSH server is, where is it? Are you sure? Because actually in the original pillar, both of them were running OpenSSH, I think.
Yes. It should depend on the metadata. Yeah, there is in the OpenSSH there is a fork. According to the pillar, if the dictionary server under the OpenSSH exists, include server and same for the client. Yes.
I'm saying in your kitchen YAML, this is your kitchen YAML in that formula. The state is being run is OpenSSH. There's no .server or anything else.
Yes. As I'm saying, both should work. Yes. The dot server is more specific, but I don't know, like, if your test is for everything. Yes.
This is just running off what you guys are given. I just adjusted it for ours, but we do need that Linux server state. Obviously, it's still looking for whatever reason. I don't know. This is what the state is trying to pull for whatever reason.
Yeah, but this is interesting because
Okay, let's
this
have a
is
look.
part of the client role. Like you must have the client under the OpenSSH somewhere there in your test pillar.
Look here. I don't, like I said, I'm just running the OpenSSH server state. So what have I got there?
Pillar. Can you show us the pillar?
The pillar? The pillar is here.
Yeah, pillar from.
Yep.
This one.
Yep. And you reckon there's something here?
The user in line 34, 35.
Okay.
That's what he was saying, I think. Because
so
you got this pillar, it generates the user.
Right. So we have to disable.
Yes. Try to.
So just disable this section here.
And is there any client section at the bottom? Is there something more, or this is it?
Well, this is test pillar server. So this is the server pillar that you guys have set up. Yeah.
Interesting. Like, I don't understand why it would run the.
So if I do here the client SLS, you can see the difference. And the client one doesn't have the actual. Oh no, it does. It does have the user there as well. Shall I make this bigger as well?
Oh, fine. Like.
Okay, we're getting there. We can see it's running. It's just tripping up over. That should be big enough, I think.
The public key SLS is the one who generates the public key for the user you add.
Which one? Sorry, I didn't catch you.
The public underscore key SLS.
Yeah, as we see here,
this
over
one.
here.
Yeah.
So it's under the server configuration.
If for user in on the top, you got this server.user.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Anyway, there we go. Look, it's getting past that and it's running the state fine. So that's with the pillar without reclass and no reclass installed. So that's good to see that we've got to that point. Yeah.
Yes.
It's working, but there is those little questions about this setup in the server
I
server side of
understand
things.
now. Yes, because this has two parts. The client has just the private keys, and the server role has the public keys, right? I didn't realize this. So
Okay.
basically, this was the cause. It's used on both.
Okay, but the good thing is we've confirmed that we can get this running without any real trouble. It's just provide the right pillar, and it looks like it's okay. I was just going to search here. Am I not signed in? Oh, that's what the problem is. I knew my interface was different. I should be able to. Come on.
Yes, and I think in the test in the test directories we should have like a lot of these pre-made pillars for automated tests, basically. Yeah, is it correct, Peter? Like for different use cases, various files.
So, for example, this gid from name that we came across earlier is deprecated by just gid. Is that right? 1 second. Is it that simple? It might have been. Yeah, it's just that simple. So what we should be able to do is look for, I don't know if it's in the other formula. It's in the Linux formula, is it? Yeah. So, all right, but the problem here is I won't be able to grab the right.
What is the proper way to fix this? Like, are we making forks for different versions of Salt? Like in the code, like if Salt is this version, like use this parameter, and if it's higher, like use a different one.
Only where we've had to. I mean, what we've done from our side is Salt Stack platform support. What we've been told is we should concentrate on this date over here, and every version that's supported, we should make sure the formulas adjust if they need to for those versions. So right now, that's only these 3 versions. And if there's something in 3002 that's not in 3000, then we might use a conditional. So we can do either one. But most times you find that there's an overlap, so you don't have to normally worry about it. So I don't know, what did I do over here?
Yes,
was it?
perfect. Thank you.
See, gid was fine. We didn't have to worry about that because that was already available for a few versions of Salt. So we could just do the straight swap. We didn't have to worry. But sometimes you do have to worry, and you have to use the conditional checking the version of Salt. But making this adjustment now over here would have to be in a fork if I made it. But we've proved, okay, we've got the point is that it's looking like, as long as reclass isn't used, these formulas can be used and even put through Kitchen the way we're normally doing it and stuff. We've done this fresh without even having looked at it before. So I'm pretty confident that could be done quite easily. The question then becomes, again, is if we do bring these together, it's the maintenance that I'm just most concerned about, because even the formulas we already have, we don't have enough contributors right now who are even helping with those formulas. And if we bring these formulas in, we may not be able to maintain them properly. We won't be able to maintain them properly. But if you guys are around and able to help out with these formulas, then there's still something that could be done.
So here the question is, how is continuous testing being done? Like, so if there is that kitchen file in the formula repository, is it being executed?
Yeah. Okay. Let me.
Because originally, like we were, I think, testing on Travis, but I think it's currently broken because of subscription and so.
Okay. Let me show you. I mean, what we have over here. So, have I opened that? No, I haven't. So what we've done is one of the guys, I don't know if he's on the talk right now, he went through and he built pre-salted images so that we don't have to run the bootstrap each time, which takes up too much time and is inefficient. He's provided images for all different combinations of Salt version and platforms that we have already. So in all of our kitchen testing, you'll see the whole section at the top with all the different combinations that we have available. And then what we're doing is we're verifying most of our formulas with InSpec, and we're just setting up the suites as usual, with the various details. And then every time there's anything going on in the formula, that will run through Travis. So Travis YAML, which is fairly simple.
Yeah, so it's
Uh,
basically very similar, I think,
Yeah.
to what we have right now. It's just about to update the base images to be used,
Yeah. So basically, we just then run them. So they're constantly being run. They're constantly being run through PRs, through weekly testing, say, and all sorts of things. So if you look at the final result, we have testing across about 100 formulas now. Automated testing, which is helping us keep that quality there and making sure we catch problems. I didn't want to press that. Making sure we catch problems beforehand, especially when new versions of Salt come out and there are things that aren't working, they'll be caught, in Travis quite quickly. So we don't have formulas that break. We catch them in advance because we're testing on master all the time as well. So you see here, we have a selection here. It's not easiest to see. I don't know if you guys know about Tiamat, but that's the new build of Salt that's going to be coming out. They're going to be removing the bootstrap and using Tiamat images instead, which are like single binaries of Salt. So we're even testing against that anyway. So we've got Tiamat there, and we test against master. So this is the master version of Salt, and then we test against older versions as well, like 3000 and so on, and 2019. Different platforms, different Salt combinations, and that's regularly running across formulas. But again, so going back to this transfer issue, we can, from our side, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of structure we can bring from our learning, what we have with our formulas, where there's, that's helped across these 100 formulas to make them much more efficient, the way they're running and testing and all sorts of things. Even, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but we have semantic release running on our formulas so that all the change log and all these things are being done automatically. So all the version numbers, all these releases, we didn't make these releases manually. These are made by semantic release as we use our CI to go through our commit messages and provide this automatically. And the changelog, like I said, that was the changelog, wasn't it? Is adjusted. Oh, no, that's the changelog there. Accordingly to all the stuff and links back to each commit that we've done. So these sort of structural things we could provide. I'm pretty sure we could do that over time, where we bring those to the formulas you've got. But the thing I think we'll struggle to do is to bring the knowledge of your formulas to when there's a PR that's actually touching how the formula is operating. That will be difficult for us. And if we can bridge that gap and have you guys providing that knowledge and bringing the formulas forward that way, I'm sure we can, make it healthier all round.
So if the repository is moved, I think we will get notifications that this is being requested. That there is a new merge request. It's about me, Aleš, possibly Philip. To review these changes and agree on that.
Yeah, and what we can also do, because we've got code owners, is one of the things we're doing across all of our formulas as well.
Yeah.
This one is a general one, but there are certain formulas. I'm just trying to think of one. Let's see, Postgres formula.
Question is even whether it's possible to move all the formulas into different repository or different organization, right? Or whether we rather want to do it one by one or something, because of course there is a lot of formulas and most of them probably won't pass tests right now.
Yeah.
They were passing the test, but if you will move everything, and they won't be, for example, generating these how to say.
One way is maybe more sensible is we could actually start using some of our stuff in your current organization. So we could start applying some of those suggestions from our side to your organization. And if we're happy with what's happening, after say 5 formulas, 10 formulas, we start seeing that the pattern is looking good, then we can start transferring formulas or deciding how to go about it. So that gives us the best of both worlds, where we get some structure, but we also see, is that even what we want? Is that working for both sides? Yes or no? And then we can transfer after that point. What do other guys think? I know some of you guys have some thoughts and stuff. Any feedback?
I think I think the question is what we want to have two OpenSSH formula, two Postgres formulas in the organization. Previously, it was not I think the idea. Maybe it can be, but it changed a lot of what we did before. Do we want to have two OpenSSH formula, or do we want to merge the best of the two in one only?
Yes, I have the same. The same is in my head as well. Like keeping two is not like the best option, right? And there should be some analysis how many is like overlapping like this, how many are unique, and
Do you have a list
Yeah.
anywhere? Do you have a list of your formulas anywhere? Like
I think I did that in the past. It's not really clashing much. There is like 30 formulas that are on the both repos, but then it's different.
yeah, but there is also like the or like Linux formula, which is like multiple other formulas, right? So the overlap may be like even greater.
So I think it would desire some, banner at the top, with some disclaimer, that this formula basically it's tied to another's, so if there will be some newcomers, and having a look on formulas, what to choose, they should be from the beginning knowing, that, salt formula OpenSSH is not, it's not the basic one, for example.
Excuse me.
Yeah, but
you on?
yeah, I think we should like then make decision like about the, let's say, the structure of the metadata, like what will be the final output, and basically align from both sides if needed. Yes.
I've got a strange take on this, but I'll let anyone else. Is someone there about to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, we don't have a concept of metadata at all, I think, so.
Yes, so I don't know, this was like very, very key, like center point, which with the current like status as small data blocks and stuff like password and pillarless stuff. So I would like to know like what the current best practice for this is. Yes, like how the current structure of the formulas like can cope with the new standards. Yes,
So
like from our part.
Just by the way, just looking through those first two pages, we've got a lot of overlaps. Even the first two pages, like 70% of them, we have the same formula in our side. So just mentioning that as a point. But the metadata issue, Daniel, are you around? Daniel?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you've been doing a lot with the sort of deeper guts of formulas recently, with the stuff on OpenSSH and stuff. Anything you can bring from an angle of how you're bringing a new structure to the formulas? If I pull it up, maybe you can explain. Where is it? Would the documentation help, perhaps? Is it this one, or is it this one?
Oh yes, this one.
Yeah, this one.
For the map ninja.
Yeah, I mean, that gives a concept of where we're going with formulas. I mean, in terms of the future of formulas, this is a good example, I think. Unless I'm missing something. But I think this might give a, where is it? Where's the actual?
It's not shown by default. You need to do
What's the name of the file?
map
Underscore ginger or .ginger? .rst.
Look for RST. Yes, RST.
This one. Okay, found
Yes.
it. So yeah, if you want to, I'll try and scroll around if you want to try and explain some of this.
Yes, I can explain a little bit. The idea is to gather formula-specific configuration values from YAML files to avoid too much use of pillars. So basically, we put public information, non-sensitive information in YAML files in the file server. And we can put things like passwords or things like that in pillars or even SDB with the Vault submodules. Actually, what I am using, maybe I can have a better example in my guest about how I'm using it. Can you look? Can you scroll a little bit?
Yeah.
Because there is the quick start with how
start.
it's done. Maybe
Yeah.
yes. I think it's the mostly. Basically, I have two file server backends. In this example, I'm using routes to put configurations and GitFS for formula. And then for each formula, I'm mostly using roles and DNS in my own setup. And I provide information based on those two parameters. And in each formula directory in the file server, I put a file hierarchy. Like you have the template in capital in srv/soul/template, yes, /parameters. And I'm putting subdirectories for DNS domain or roles name. Yes, like this. And it's not like what you use with metadata, but to me, the formula is static, and I'm providing information based on outside, on context configuration, like the DNS domain or roles, like I'm doing just below. Yes. I'm doing a template server and template client, and I'm putting configuration value in each different roles. And then I just need to globally configure the map.jinja to include the DNS domain and the roles grains. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's really understandable or easily understandable.
Let's pull the salt formulas guys in here. What like we said last week, I mean, what you guys have done is very structured. It's a lot of cross formula dependencies and cohesion between the formulas, which is a big structure. SaltStack formulas has never really been that way, where each formula is seen independently. So, you can argue they do too much. They do things like creating roles or creating usernames when they shouldn't, and all these things. So what they've historically depended upon is gathering everything into map.jinja, and merging various layers of data together to get the final result for each minion. So here what you've got is you're starting with a very general YAML file if there's any specifics for the OS Arch, and then it goes through the layers such as like anything that's specific to that family, and then anything specific to the actual OS itself, and then the finger. So that gives the first layer of merging. Okay, do you want me to pull that open?
Oh, yes.
Only problem is I can't grab it too easily. Can you put it in the Zoom chat?
Yeah, I will do that.
Except I can't get my Zoom window either, which is ridiculous. How do I get to it? Yes, I can get to it. I've got to it now. So if you can paste it in there, I can open it.
Yeah.
So if I do understand, the formula store these templates when it's installed and basically then collects these grains.
What? Sorry?
So like if I do understand, when the formula is being deployed on a server, it basically generates these files on the file system, and that basically allows for this map.jinja stuff to load these particular grains.
Yeah. Yeah, but now what we're trying to do is go further than just grains. So what was the C again, Daniel?
Yes, I
Just-
put the GIST
Oh,
in
that's the
the
config,
chat.
isn't it? Okay, so let's get.
Oh
that
yes, the
instead.
config get.
Yeah, so let's open this up. Maybe that will make it easier. So should I let you
Yes,
carry on from here?
it's nearly the same, but you have if you scroll, you have the telegraph layout. Yes, scroll down near the end. Yes, this one. Can you up? Yes. So in this, you have the layout in the formula parameters. So you have parameters for the example.net DNS domain, and you have some for each specific minion called backup, git, or one.example.net. And to configure Telegraph depending on the services installed locally, I'm using roles. So when a minion has the Apache role, it automatically configures Telegraph with the parameters in that files. And the same for NTP client and etc. So this is how I'm doing to.
And how do you maintain this structure? Yes, and so you have one, like by ID, you have like one node at each telegraph, let's say OpenSSH. Can you repeat it?
So everything is in a Git repository because I'm using a Git repository, and there is nothing like references in the. Oh, excuse me, I have some glitch sound.
Yes, okay, understand. And so when you have a secret, how do you like append the secret to this?
Oh,
So you
the secret I'm. Yes, the secret I'm putting them in the pillars. Yeah, this is an old. It's not config get lookup anymore. So I'm putting the secrets in the pillar, and MapJinja will look up by default. It will look up a YAML file called name of the formula /parameter /OSArch the architecture of the operating system. Then for the OS family, the OS finger, and finally it will merge the two config get. As you can see, TPL root is the name of the formula. So it's doing a config get TPL root lookup, merge that with the actual configuration, then merge the TPL root itself. We had a discussion about the maybe useless lookup subkey, but actually for compatibility we are keeping both. And the secrets are stored in pillars, so they are merged in the MapJinja map data. It exposes the map data variable, and you have the secrets in that. One of the ideas we had at one moment was to expose two variables, one for the public data and another one for the sensitive data. But actually, everything is put in the same map data variable.
Yes. This looks like what we used to have. This very similar line at the top, like through MapJinja, basically appended the pillars. Yes, the rendered pillars. So I will similar construct, I would say.
We were using MapJinja to merge the MapJinja content, some YAML structures we had with the pillars, and this is more or less what we have in the meta folder
Uh-huh.
in service meta.
Yeah, but still, if you check the MapJinja, right? So yeah, so it basically defines the roles, the server, and you see it's getting merged with the pillar here. Yeah, so you have a client and you have a server, and you are referencing this MapJinja construct, basically merged of some static meta, like by the grains, and overridden by the pillar for this. You see OpenSSH client basically, or for the given role.
Okay.
So,
And our contribution puts all the data you put directly in MapJinja in external YAML files. To my point of view, it is the maintenance of such structure.
so what it is,
No.
if I was to jump here for 1 second, sorry, this is like the first meeting, one of the first meetings we had, and if I, where's my MapJinja? Where is it? Here.
Yeah.
The evolution of MapJinja. So what you've got there is very similar to what we would classify as a version 1 MapJinja. So what you have, let me zoom in a bit more to make it easier to read. Right, that should be easier to read now. So what it is what you're saying is you're setting up by say
Yes,
OS, and
yes,
then
this
you're
is
merging in the pillar and maybe a lookup, and that's fine. And what happens is in some of the formulas we've got is that becomes really difficult to use because there's so much merging going on at different layers. It becomes hard to do in Jinja. So what you found in, if we ignore,
yeah, but we had this like YAML. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
like style as well. So we used YAML to define the structure of the instead of the Jinja. Yeah, like in the Jinja have like
Yeah.
read YAML, the Boxer YAML, right?
So this is like a more common option now since then is the splitting into YAML files. So you split them into YAML files and then you merge them all together, and then you merge, instead of just the pillar now, we're using config.get because we were told by some of the wider SaltStack community that they're not using pillars everywhere, and config.get allows you to use pillars, or it allows you to use config files, or it allows you to use STB. So we started using config.get. So this was our sort of version 3. This is the most common MapJinja we have across our formulas. But what we're working towards is this idea of allowing the merging to be controlled by the user. So these MapJinjas over here, they're static. Once we give them to the user, they can't change anything. Yeah, this is completely static. User can't change anything at their end at all. They have to accept what you've given them. With the YAML files, they can at least override them at their own end if they want to. But what we want to do is this merging construct over here, where it merges all the different layers, they still have no control over that. So the new MapJinja that we're trying to work towards is to give all the control to the end user so they can decide the merging strategy themselves. They can decide which ones they want to merge, which ones they want to avoid, which YAML files they want to provide, which ones they want to remove. All of it becomes in the hands of the user instead. That's the idea of where we're trying to go to. So we're trying to give the user the control to set the, if you like, the metadata in a way, because they have now full control over how it all gets merged. If I go back here, it's not easy to, this is taking time. I mean, even amongst ourselves, we haven't, quite got it to a standard, but this over here is configurable in your pillar. So you can choose what you want to merge and what you don't, what bits you need, what bits you don't need. You select as the user, and you provide whichever YAML files you want, and it'll all get merged into the map automatically.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Nice.
If I let's have a look at the. Have you got an example out there? Which one's the most mature one out there, Daniel? Is in terms of the formulas that have all the YAML files. Daniel, is he still there? Okay, 1 second. Let's see if I can grab one. I'm pretty sure I. Oh, start from here. I think the OpenSSH might have a layer of it. Let's see. So if we look over,
I don't think OpenSSH has been merged yet.
I think
or has it?
I think
Oh,
there's
right.
there's an earlier version of it. So what you have here is this is the parameters that's being suggested. This is like the one that's formula provided, but it can be overridden by the user at their end using their own routes. So they don't have to rely upon the ones we're giving them. So this is what's being used to form MapGinger. And at the very basic level, this is like the normal defaults file. So you set the defaults here across all platforms, and then you can specify, by any layer of grain. So this is the OS families, and they have the specifics for the SSH formula here. Just anything that's specific to them, which will get merged in. And we jump to the OS finger. If there's anything specific there, that can be added as well. So we have something slightly different there for, that platform over there. And what you have now is the user now, let's say their own structure of their infrastructure. They can provide any layers of folders here that they want to, based upon a grain, based upon a config entry, based upon a pillar item. They can put them in here as separate folders, as separate YAML files, and it'll all get merged automatically as long as they define it properly in this file over here, which I can finally get to. Where is it? The one I was just showing you a minute ago. It'll be here as well. So long as they are setting this part up properly here, the sources of the MapGinger, it will perform the merging in the order they want to perform it in. So you can provide all your ID-specific YAML files where you have overrides for each individual device or minion. You get the rough idea? It's not easy to understand yet because we haven't really implemented it fully, but this is the direction we're trying to head, where we're giving the user, the end user, the full control of how they set up their infrastructure rather than the formula, giving them a structure and they have to be stuck to that structure. We want to give that control to the end user.
A little bit like a pillar stack for pillars.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's a clear implementation. Like, so obviously you did some iterations, so like, so now it's having some reasonable structure. Even having that as a independent files is definitely easier to, at the end to merge the different default values. So we were basically struggling with the same stuff as well. If the requirements were too complex, let's say. So
Yeah.
like more clear. I did not get where I will provide these parameters for specific ID. So does it mean that I have to fork the formula or?
No, you don't have to fork the formula. All you need is your own override parameters directory, which is
like a pillar. You mean like on a pillar?
No. Where's? Let me see if I can see the bit where it's got the roots. Is this the one with the roots discussed? So, sorry, I'm losing. Right, here we go. Here, this is it over here.
Those files are on the file server.
So look, if you look over here, you have your own file server. You can call it whatever you like, but sorry, not there, sorry. Under file roots, you'll have your own configuration there, which is the primary source for all data. And then you can have your formulas, say getfs, and this will be the secondary data. So whatever you've got under server salt, for example, here, will always take priority. So you'll have a server salt parameters directory like that, say, for example, and whatever you provide there will override the formula. So whatever the formula gives you as that file, this will take precedence. So the end user always has full control. They don't have to fork the formula even. They just have to provide their own data in their own parameters directory on their own in the file roots.
Mm-hmm.
So anything you don't like from the formula that it's providing, you change it. You even discard it, remove it if you like.
Yeah, clear now. Mm-hmm.
So we don't provide a structure, cross-formula structure, because I think that decision was made a long time ago, and we've stuck to it. So this was before even our time, a lot of us. But what we've seen is we'll give each individual formula as much control as they like, and they can then place the whole infrastructure of the use of all the formulas together in a way that suits them with these YAML files instead. And it avoids pillar as well. That's one of the things we're trying to avoid, is minimize the use of pillar to make the formulas operate to prevent the master from being clogged down by too many pillars and configuration elements that should be separated from there.
Yes, from what I see, like this is like if we could transfer some of the fragments of the metadata that we had to this structure, then we could and provide it within the formula where it is includable. Yeah, this way. So I think we could redo the stuff we do in a class to fit this way as well, basically.
That would be very interesting. It'd be really interesting to see if it does work that way. You know, it'd be good. It'd be a good test of it to see whether it does that.
Yeah, because this does solve some of the like very painful stuff that we had with the concept. Yes, so we can, or I can try to make some POC to check how it would look like. Yeah, it would be interesting.
Yeah, maybe Daniel could, because Daniel's been doing a lot of this development here to get this all structured. Maybe if he has a moment, he can maybe join in with maybe one formula you guys have and see whether that can drop into it. I don't know, Daniel, I don't want to set you up and give you a job you don't want to do, but if you're willing, maybe you can, you know, liaise and work something out.
Yeah, it's possible. I think I will firstly do the OpenVPN formula, as we said. And then I will try to look. We need to choose a formula in their ecosystem and try to include it.
It can be OpenVPN as well, right? Oh, just kidding. It could be interesting, right?
Do you have a formula you would like it tested?
Yes, I will. So I will check. Not like I don't know if some simple keep alive for like it's a package config service, yeah, something like that with simple grains and simple MapGinger, right? So I don't know, probably some simple stuff like this.
Okay, keep alive D.
Yes.
It might be worth maybe not messing with the formula directly. How about, you know, maybe
Yes.
having a separate version of this?
I will fork the repository and provide a pull request.
Yeah, I mean I mean even the ones that you've already done, the OpenSSH is there and the probably OpenVPN as well. So whatever, that could be a way to compare. See, there's an OpenVPN there as well. So these are the formulas we've been working with at our end. So it'd be interesting to see how they operate with the SARP formulas versions. But we can carry on that discussion in the formulas channel in Slack, maybe. That's probably an easy place to discuss this.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Obviously, it will lead to some changes in the formulas anyway. So, so like first to be compatible with the rest of the system, and so on. So regarding the, you know, what if there are two formulas for the same topic, you know.
Oh yeah, I was gonna tell you my crazy idea.
You have to decide basically, and maybe just pick some sections, and you know, instead of, you know, for example, like you have as well Docker, yeah, you know. So like if there is anything that I'm missing in upstream SaltStack formula for Docker, I can just pick these states and, you know, provide them as a merge request, but I don't have to, you know, upgrade the whole Docker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, regarding features, it's more or less up to the end users or some other users so they will decide, you know, which formula has more features for them and which one they want to continue. But as long as there will be the standard for these parameters, as you just shown, and some metadata structure, you know, users anyway will stick with the formulas that already follow these structures.
I personally, see now I'm probably a bit separate here. I actually don't mind separate versions of the same formula. That's just my own take, because when we've been looking at a lot of these formulas, and some of these formulas are trying to do too many things. And I've been joking with the guys. I've been saying I want to split some of these formulas into even more versions. So I have my example was the PostgreSQL formula, because there are certain developments I wanted to do with the Postgres formula in our side, and it's only for Debian. And I've done nothing instead, because I didn't want to mess with the formula that's used across many platforms. I didn't make any changes at all in the end. And sometimes I think it's stopping us from developing when things are just too complicated within one formula itself. I'm not saying that's what we're going to do, but it's been in my mind is, do we have to always only have one formula for one thing? But this is something that others can discuss as well and bring their opinions to.
I don't say I'm against that idea. I think it changed the way we worked before, or actually, until now. Just the idea. We need to decide if we want to have multiple formulas.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure I'm against this idea too. Never.
Yes, like for me, like this is against the philosophy, right?
Sorry?
This is to have two formulas. It's like against like what we ever did. Like context should rule it, whether it does little or it does much, right? But still, I understand that you have the complexity of the formula, but going to some simple fragments will just get you to for the beginning of the path. Yes, you will be getting to the more complex. Yes, as you will be needing the features. Yes, probably.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of discussions to have here, definitely, and we can't make a decision that quickly. But
or
it's
maybe
good to-
like as you said, like if you have like completely different architectures or operating systems, that it may like make more sense, or I don't know.
Yeah, see, I don't know about taking this example. Is I wanted to have multi clusters, you know, from one formula, and our formula can't do that at the moment because you can't define more than one port. You can't define clusters and stuff. And I can do that on Debian-based systems. I know I can. I'm doing it, but bringing that into the formula now is very complicated because I don't know what effect that has on Red Hat or any of the other any of the other platforms. So sometimes maybe my argument is sometimes we maybe don't have to keep things together. Sometimes we can keep it separate, but again, it has to be justified.
Yes.
It shall be separate
never
state,
know.
separate state for that specific action. But this highlights me that, Aleš, maybe you can explain better that we were doing that thing that there were multiple templates per actually the platform. So we were rendering different files for different, you know, like Red Hat and Debian stuff and so on.
Oh no,
Yes,
we've got that. Oh, we haven't
yeah, I
explained
think
that to you. Yeah, go on.
This is happening here as well, but still, like, it's much hard to test, and if you don't have the use case, you usually get stuck to one platform. Yes, like when you make formula to run your Debian Postgres, you don't give a much about that platform. Yes, so this is just like up to manpower, like, or some better automated tests that can provide. I don't know. We usually try to make the best engineering choices, so we were going into waters we knew. Yeah, so we didn't try to like configure every possible configuration. Some edge case we could not test like properly. So
we've got something for that. We've got something for that as well, where we can provide templates per platform, or again based upon any grain and stuff. If I show you here quickly, where is it? Which formula's got TOFs running properly? I can't even remember right now. Anyone remember?
Well, template
Aren't they all
formula.
listed in the SSF formula?
Yeah, but I'm looking for one that's got some good Debian and Red Hat templates and
Oh,
stuff.
right.
I can't remember which one it was.
Okay. Okay, I don't.
Because some of them have TOFs, but they're not showing us all the differences that we have. Let's see here. Not even here. Daniel, do you remember which formula? Is it libvirt? Ah. I'm making all sorts of mistakes here. No, it's not there either. I know there's a formula, but we've got a
Just
system of. Huh?
Just a quick find. Jenkins formula, maybe.
I can't remember doing that.
I see a Red Hat file.
Oh no, I don't think that's got Tufts though. I don't think that's got Tufts. Oh yeah, it does look
I
like it
was
has.
just searching based
Yeah.
on the file name.
Yeah. So for example, we've got something running where it'll select the right template based upon the name of the grain. So here you give the name of the grain in the folder and it'll pick the Jenkins template from either the Debian or the Red Hat folder accordingly. So we've got something there. We can talk about it next time because it'll take time to discuss now. But there are ways around doing that. But sometimes there are even more complicated architectural problems like having multiple clusters and stuff. And that sometimes I think maybe it needs a different repo. Maybe it's not even the same repo. But that can be discussed later. Is there anything else? Because we're running out of time here. Is there any other points we want to raise today? Anyone's got any thoughts or concerns for now?
Yes, I'm fine. Maybe if someone can send me some of the links, I can read through this. It would be nice.
Okay.
Like, and some examples, so I can try it as well.
Right. Okay. If you can join in the Slack formulas channel, where most of us here that are in the meeting are available there, so we can always also chat and give specific examples as you need them as well. So are you in the formulas channel in Slack?
Yeah, I can join.
Yeah. If
No
you can
problem.
join that, we're always available there, one of us or another, and between us we have the various examples of what we're doing.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
Because there's a lot of stuff and there's a lot of different angles we've gone in to make sure that we're bringing some structure to this. All right.
All right.
All right, great. Good. Thanks for joining again. Hopefully we can make some forward motion. And if you guys want to join again in 2 weeks' time, let us know so that we can make sure we have the meeting ready for you guys as well for the next meeting.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Is the next
Sure,
meeting?
John.
I just want to confirm when the next meeting is. Just give me 1 second here. The
In
next
2 weeks.
Yeah, it's on 24th, same time. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Good to talk to you all, and hopefully we'll catch up in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Goodbye.
Sure, sure.
Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.